Let's talk about the pound, which is a bit more recent. This was in 1913. The pound sterling, it was the king, and it wasn't even close. London financed the entire planet's trade. The pound was backed by the largest empire in human history, a quarter of the world's land and people. If you stood in London in 1913 and said that the pound was going to lose its spot, they would have laughed you out of the room, or out of the city, I guess. It'd be like standing in New York today and saying that the dollar is finished, or making YouTube videos about it. Then Britain fought 2 world wars, and the wars ran on borrowed money. By 1945, Britain's debt was roughly 250% of GDP, and the country that used to lend to the whole planet was begging America for loans. And a few things happened along the way. For example, in 1931, Britain got forced off of the gold standard. They called it temporary, but it wasn't. And 40 years later, America used the exact same words for the exact same move. They got forced off the gold standard, and they said it was temporary. 55 years later, they're still not back on the gold standard. Now here's where it gets properly dark, because Britain had no honest way to pay off the debt. So they did 3 things. And I want you to remember all 3 of these things because they're really important. I want you to burn these things into your mind because they're going to have a direct impact on your portfolio in coming years if the US dollar follows the same path, which I believe it will. And look, this is probably one of the greatest scams in the history of finance. Here it is step by step. So first, they trapped everyone in the pound. Countries across the empire, India, Egypt, dozens more, held massive piles of pound sterling and they were pressured to keep holding. Ordinary Brits got capital controls. At one point, you were allowed to take only £50 out of the country on holiday. So you couldn't even get your money out, even if you saw this whole thing coming. Second, they pinned interest rates below inflation on purpose for decades. So your savings earned 2% while prices rose way faster than that. So every year, a slice of your wealth went straight to the government. It was like a stealth tax. And nobody ever voted on this, by the way. It was just the way they did things. Economists called it financial repression, which is a very polite name for it, really, but it's a massive scam. That's what it is. And third, they lied. In 1949, the Chancellor stood up and denied any plan to devalue the pound over and over in public. Then one Sunday evening in September, he devalued it by 30% overnight. I shouldn't laugh because it's horrible. It's horrible what the government does. But people went to bed with a pound worth like $4 and they woke up with a pound worth $2.80 US. In 1967, they did it again. Prime Minister Harold Wilson at the time went on TV and told the nation, and I quote, he said this, "The pound in your pocket has not been devalued." The pound had literally just been devalued 14% a few days earlier. It's like one of the most famous lies in British history, financial history anyway. So people say that the US is not Britain, but back then people said that Britain is not like France and they would never devalue their currency. And when France did it, they said that France wasn't like Holland, and when Holland did it, they said Holland wasn't like Spain, so on and so forth throughout history. Anyway guys, if you want my full take on this, make sure to click on the video that's popping up on your screen somewhere here. I made a full video about this subject, so just give it a watch and tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.